Lingyang is touted as the worst 5-star unit in the game, and as a Lingyang main, I will say that the claims are simply real. Well, somewhat. Among all of the 5-star units, Lingyang does post the lowest DPS numbers even with the most optimized rotations, but I am still able to utilize him to clear the last flaws of the Tower of Adversity, so it's not exactly all doom and gloom for him. This is why in this video, I will try my best to share with you how to build and use him effectively for you to use him in a state where he sucks less. Let's dive right in. To start things off, I will touch on Lingyang's main problem and how we can navigate around it. I'm of course referring to the fact Lingyang does absolutely piss poor damage outside of his Striding Lion, aka Lion Dance state. This Lion Dance state can be activated using basic attack or heavy attack once his forte gauge is full at 100 Lion Spirit and allows him to go airborne, lasting for 5 seconds with a bonus 50% glacial damage buff. Now, as I've already mentioned, his non-Lion Dance state suck balls, so building his gauge using his normal basic attacks and skills is just out of the question. Instead, we want to swap into him when you're able to trigger both his intro skill and ultimate, which gives him 40 and 60 Lion Spirit respectively, conveniently filling his gauge to full without you doing anything else. His ultimate also makes his Lion Dance state last for 10 seconds, making this his best and only burst window. However, one roadblock in this case is not having enough resonance energy to ensure his ultimate is always ready when you swap into him. For this, I'm currently rocking additional 30% energy regeneration on my Lion Boy with a Lingyang Sanhua Verena team, but I've tested him at 20% energy regeneration too with no problems provided all of his hits land on the enemy, so if you're looking to emulate my team and rotation, this is a good number to aim for. If you're running other teams, be sure to test out for yourself to see what rotations allow you to have the ultimate always up when you swap him in and adjust the energy regeneration percentage accordingly by grabbing them on his Echo Substats. Now moving on from that, since we now know that Lingyang's burst windows only exist during his Lion Dance state, let's get some misconceptions out of the way when it comes to his skill priority. As you can see for yourself, I have maxed out all of his skills to the current limit like a true Lingyang main, but I would highly recommend you prioritize his skills as shown on the screen with adding Forte Circuit, Resonance Liberation, and Intro skill as a priority. At this point you might be thinking, shame on you Cocky for claiming you are Lingyang main, yet you're asking me not to prioritize leveling his basic attacks and resonance skill, which is the bulk of his damage. Now before you flame me further in the comment section below, if you just take a look at both his basic attack and resonance skill sections, you can clearly see this refers strictly to his non-Lion Dance state damage, while leveling his Forte Circuit buffs his Lion Dance state basic and resonance skill damage multipliers. So I hope this clears things up so you don't waste unnecessary materials, especially once they require weekly boss materials to level up. Now with his skill priority out of the way, let's dive into his Echo set and main Echo selections, and this is where there are going to be some discrepancies from your commonly known selections. The setup people usually recommend is the Glacial 5-piece set with Lampy as the main Echo, which isn't bad by any means, but unfortunately Lampy is not the best since it takes you 3 seconds to complete all 3 attacks, even in view of the buffs it gives, especially for a character like Lingyang that relies on fast rotations to get him back into his ultimate cycle. This is also compounded by the fact Echo damage is going to become more and more irrelevant as our character damage increases with higher skill multipliers, which is why I recommend going for the Glacial Predator as the main Echo instead, as it is a summon Echo which takes no frames and will speed up the rotation to allow for more burst windows with Lingyang. I've personally tested this with my level 70 Lingyang on a 4-star weapon, clearing the 4th floor Heron, and it consistently outperformed Lampy in my test by around 10 to 15 seconds give or take based off variance, but if you're trying to use Lingyang in the overworld or in large AoE scenarios, Lampy might still outperform it for the time being until maybe if we reach level 80 or 90 where the skill multipliers really shoots up. Alternatively, you can go with the Lingering Tune set as well, which is probably better on Lingyang since Lingyang can make full use of the set effect, and Mag Abomination being a summon Echo is a better main Echo than both Lampy and Glacial Predator, and also provides a 12% attack buff for 15 seconds which covers his entire burst window. This set however might not be ideal if you plan to share it with other quick swappy Glacial units in the future if you do get them, so do keep that in mind. As for his Echo main stats, you want to grab out crit rate on his 4-cost Echoes given how there's no 5-star crit rate weapon currently. Place your damage percent on his 3-cost echoes and attack percentage on his 1-cost echoes. For the echo substats, ideally you want to always have crit rate and crit damage on every single echo piece, while also grabbing up energy regeneration to fulfill energy regeneration requirements as stated previously. However, energy regeneration will come ahead of everything because if you do not have ultimate up when you switch into him, it's totally pointless with all of this crit rate and crit damage that he possesses. Now when it comes to Lingyang's weapon selection, it is pretty straightforward. Abyss Surges is the best in slot at the moment as it gives him energy regen with high base attack percentage while also having an effect built for Lingyang's optimal rotation. Alternatives can include 4-star options in Holo Mirage, which I'm using currently, and it's great provided you don't get hit much, and also the Stone Nut from the Battle Pass, which boasts a 20% crit rate at max. Notably though, there are currently no 5-star weapon like I mentioned, so he can possibly get stronger in the future if a unit releases with a signature weapon that has that. With all of the build and setup out of the way, we can now touch on Lingyang's rotation, which is a highlight if you are someone that enjoys the simplicity in life. This is similar to Ziyan where his rotations are nothing fancy, and you can see on the screen for yourself what I mean by that. We first start with the intro skill, then we use the Resonance Liberation, and by this time the gauge should be up at 100%, and you want to use the Echo before entering his Striding Lion state with heavy attack, and then repeat the simple rotation of basic attack into skill 4 times before ending with one last basic attack into another one that triggers Stormy Strikes and then outro. Note here, once you see the Stormy Strikes animations appearing on Lingyang, you can swap him off immediately to save frames this way. This rotation is also specifically for when you obtain the inherent skill Diligent Practice, which is key as it greatly boosts your Mountain Roamer damage after you use a basic attack. If you have yet to unlock the inherent skill, you can instead just do basic attacks all the way during his Lion Striding mode, as this is better DPS wise. Some variations for these rotations include adding a skill before Resonance Liberation and also before you enter the Striding Lion state if you do lack energy regen, as this will help to make it easier to fill his next ultimate bar. Now of course this rotation is just based off Lingyang alone, but no DPS is complete without a team. In Lingyang's case, his best teammates at the moment are Sanhua and Verena, with Baizi being a substitute for Verena. Sanhua is incredibly potent as a teammate not just because of her 38% basic attack deepen buff, but also because she takes an extremely short amount of time to accumulate full Concerto energy. Her out skill detonate combo allows you to quickly rotate back to Lingyang again to activate his burst window, which is very important. Verena of course is everyone's best teammates at this point, with her attack buffs and heals, with Baizi being a budget Verena for the most part. This team setup is pretty much standard, but I'm currently trying to test some quick swap options as well, and I'll report back with another video if I find something viable. With all that said, Lingyang isn't really that bad all things considered, as he can do some pretty good damage while flying around and should allow you to clear the Tower of Adversity in due time with some levels. Speaking of the Tower of Adversity, if you're looking for a quick guide on how to best tackle it, be sure to check out this video over here where I touch on that. I'll see you guys over there. This is Corky Gachas, signing off.